You know, some people spend hours looking up at the sky, dedicated to the idea of seeing a UFO, and they never see a thing. Other people glance up for a few seconds and get an amazing sighting. And that's true with today's story. Anthony and Mark are two guys who saw something very strange in the skies above Oxfordshire. So, Mark and Anthony here at the site where they actually witnessed this UFO. Describe exactly what you both saw.
Actually, it was we had two silver ball shapes that came from this direction over here, and one stopped completely, and the other shot off at a great rate of knots to one side and stopped again, and went back to the other silver ball, and it darted around the other ball, got back into formation, and then came across this direction.
So what did you make of it?
I was quite puzzled really to what it was, and then Tony was saying that he's had sightings before, and we basically put it down to it was two UFOs.
So tell us what you experienced here.
We were walking across the field, more or less in the centre here, and we sort of looked up and we see these two bright objects. One sort of came across and stayed stationary, and again the other one started zipping around it and so forth. And then they went off into a sort of southwesterly direction.
And how long did the sighting actually last?
Roughly about 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
2.5
yeah,
minutes.
2.5 minutes. Yeah.
And was this different to the other sighting that you'd had?
They were in one respect, because this was a daytime sighting and the other ones after were an evening sighting, and they again were coming in this sort of same direction.
Mike Soper is from Contact International, a group that investigates UFOs in the Oxfordshire area, and I wanted to find out from him whether this sighting was a common occurrence in Oxfordshire. Mike, can you tell us how common are the UFO sightings we've heard about today in this area?
We've had surprisingly many sightings here. In fact, if you drew a line from, let us say, the Rollright Stones in North Oxfordshire, and then through East Oxford and on down towards Wheatley, we've had an amazing number of sightings on that line, including the sightings which we've just heard about here from Mark and Tony. But we've also had, at Horsepath, a remarkable sighting near an electricity line there by 7 objects, one a kind of pinkish or crimson, and 6 blue objects circling round it, which were shining yellow beams on the ground. That was this year, March. One interesting sighting, which is not too far from here, on the same line, concerns an object that hovered over water near the M40, which was a large pond or lake, which is on to the right of the M40 going south, just after the motorway was opened, and that was about 94. And the remarkable event was that seen by 2 people driving south on the motorway, and they saw a red light and with a blue light above it, and a whole circling lights around them, and they were hovering over the water, which is, I'll explain in a while, it's quite important. The whole assemblage then tilted to 240 degrees, if you can imagine it, and then zoomed away rapidly into the evening sky. Now, the remarkable thing about it is the fact that we often do get UFO sightings over water, and water does seem to be something which they use as a kind of fuel. We've investigated quite a few sightings over water, including some up near Coventry, which is very interesting because of anything that indicates physicality is interesting, because in fact it reveals the fact that you're dealing with something and not just an impression of something, which could, after all, be a laser beam to the back of somebody's eye. Yes, this area does seem to have more than its ration of UFOs. Perhaps there are more UFOs in this area because it seems to be one of those interesting things which some people refer to as ley lines. An area which is, let us say, closer to other dimensionalities, because I'm convinced that the UFO phenomenon is connected with other dimensionalities, and also some places are closer to those extra dimensions than others.
What conclusions did he come to, and did you think that there was any other possible explanation for this?
Not really, no.
Could it have been a balloon or a plane or something explainable?
No, I don't think so, because I think there's no noise from the UFOs, but you can tell aircraft can, totally different with the flashing lights, obviously, and the noise.
But across the UK, and indeed across the world, hundreds of thousands of people every year see strange objects in the sky that really can't be explained away with all the usual theories. As one UFO investigator said, we watch and we wait.